Hello and welcome back to Crypto. My God, the markets are looking better today, so I'm gonna say, oh my God, with a little bit of excitement. But guys, the real bull narrative, it continues to unfold. I'm pretty excited about this because the last couple weeks have been just a Rochambeau of getting beaten down over and over again with these baseless speculative assets. However, you know my favorite topic, regulations, makes me think that things are gonna be alright. Let's get into it. So the story sits here. An article from the New York Times on February 4th discusses the SEC moves to scale back its crypto enforcement efforts. Some in a special unit of 50 lawyers and staff members that had been assigned to regulate the cryptocurrency are now being reassigned in the agency. One thing I want to call out, the Gensler regime over the past 4 years was in cahoots with Elizabeth Warren. This right here is the anti-crypto army. And you got to imagine these 50 lawyers and staff members on this crypto enforcement team. They were there not to support and endorse these businesses. They were there to figure out how to launch numerous lawsuits and go after businesses, whether they be building something real and authentic or nefarious and funky, but to bring enforcement action. The goal of this unit was to strike fear into the hearts of anyone building in this ecosystem. And that's just complete BS because the traditional finance rails are over 100 years old. They were developed before computers were around, and they have all sorts of requirements that are just absolutely batshit in the age of the internet. So this is step one as we move towards building a healthy, coherent framework for building good businesses. Now, the big news that came out this week is that the SEC drops case against crypto firms, a win for DeFi and blockchain. But what is that, right? This right here, this is the most impactful thing that I have seen in this market. And let me tell you why. Now, under here, a controversial rule that sparked industry backlash. This is the crux of it. And what it is, the SEC had planned to change the definition of a broker-dealer, which would have required crypto liquidity providers and automated market makers with over 50 million in capital to register with the agency. Let's unpack that because there's just two things in there that do not comply. They just don't overlap. So let's start with a broker-dealer. What is that? In the traditional financial ecosystem, regulations are enforced through the middlemen, through the intermediaries. A broker-dealer is someone who brokers deals, right? They take two parties, they want to sell some securities, they want to make an exchange, they even want to launch an asset of some sort under securities compliance regime. A broker-dealer facilitates that. They're a person that holds a series of licenses. They sit behind their own closed door inside of an office. I've worked with broker-dealers in the past. They have to be completely segregated from any other business dealings. They are this independent registrar that facilitates these licensed interactions. Now, the problem is that Web3, blockchain, and everything built on top of this code-based world does not require an intermediary, right? So we're looking at automated market makers and ones with over 50 million in capital. That's pretty easy in the cryptocurrency space. There's billions of stablecoins being minted every day. 50 million is not a high number. Now, an AMM is not an intermediary. It is not a human. It is a piece of code that is created and launched under the First Amendment. They are simply maths. If you look at an AMM, it is a curve between assets. They are, again, algebra that looks to make sure that assets stay in balance. Your standard AMM is comprised of a pool, again, two assets, maybe Ethereum and a stablecoin. Users can commit to this pool to provide the liquidity underneath. They generally receive some of the fees from the trades as the APY for providing to that pool. And the algorithm allows anyone to make ETH go into USDC, so selling ETH, or USDC going into ETH, buying ETH, right? It uses those liquidity pools, and this is all in predefined algebraic equations that are just sitting out there for everyone to see. A lot of this is open source, it's verifiable, and it can be audited block by block. So this is an absolute departure from what a broker-dealer is required to do, which is to sit there, which is to act as the eye of Sauron inside of any of these broker deals to ensure compliance. Now what's really exciting, and this comes from Blockchain Association, a lobbying group that represents the Web3 space in DC, they say, today marks a complete victory for us and the broader industry in our lawsuit against the SEC over the dealer rule. This is actually something that they brought forth in April of last year. They've been arguing with the SEC SEC. And again, Gensler was very enforcement heavy, very much I'm here to fuck you up kind of vibes. And what's wild is the Blockchain Association actually got the judge to agree. They said the SEC was overstepping the regulatory authority. But the SEC didn't care. They have infinite resources, right? They are a group of lawyers. They can say, if we want to just keep suing you, we'll just keep suing you. So what did they do? They made an appeal. They brought it back, so on and so forth. As of yesterday, the Blockchain Association got the SEC under the new Commissioner Ueda, who is more pro-blockchain alongside Hester Peirce, to say, hey, we're going to pull back on this. We're no longer going to follow this case and try to enforce this weird, crazy broker law against you. So this is huge. They're not only pulling back and releasing that grip that was really used to crush. It wasn't a constructive organization or anything that could be helpful. It was total assault. And like I covered previously, Hester Peirce is simultaneously putting out the framework for how to build businesses, right? To say maybe these assets aren't securities. Maybe there is an alternative trading system that is being developed and we need a new rule set. We need new swim lanes. And this is what the industry has been begging for. These people just want to build real product, real businesses that generate revenue, that earn fees, and that return those fees and that capital to any network participant, generally in preset rules. We can check, are these rules compliant? Like, this is actually the easiest thing to regulate if anyone would step up and just let us know how. So again, cannot express how bullish this is. These are now the frameworks for the future of how the industry will not only develop, but grow and do it in a compliant fashion that allows traditional finance to onboard the trillions of dollars that they have. And they can now do it with the trust, with the appropriate authority to put their capital in. And of course, we do have the impact of what is called lindiness, so battle tested over time. The blockchains are proving that they work. Visa is using stablecoin transactions and announcing increased numbers over and over again. And increasingly, these new financial rails are proving to be valid, trustworthy, and capable of facilitating what they need. So another positive message comes out today. The SEC launches a new crypto crime fighting unit, and this is going to be very different than Gensler's approach. Basically, they've been looking at a lot of the abuses that came with meme coin mania and just saying that the root out and seeking the misuse innovation to harm investors and diminish confidence in new technologies. This is also contributing to the support of the industry, saying we know that there are people that are misusing the blockchain to basically run these grifts. We've seen it over and over again, right? Libra is peak. And now they're acknowledging that not only are they going to be assisting us in building real useful businesses, but that they will also make it costly to just commit blatant crime. This is good. This is good. Now, a friend of mine, Nick Pullman, a great lawyer in the space, he actually put together a little thread sort of on why this is useful and why this is a really big deal. I'll share it in the description. I don't need to go into it too heavily here, but this is the foundation of the real bull market. I cannot stress that highly enough. The bull market cannot support itself off of grifts and pump and dumps from meme coins. Meme coins are fundamentally valueless. They're supposed to be for the lulz. That's what a meme really is all about. There was no substance. That's why people were trading them. They got an uptick because the previous SEC was so aggressive towards anything with substance that people went for the insubstantial. And now we have the framework growing to build real businesses. This is where actual value will grow. The adoption of Bitcoin as a monetary asset, not really a technological one, is set. And guys, from here it's to the moon. So I'm pretty pumped, and I think we're so back. Good luck out there.